All right, so yesterday we left off on this story problem example. It says a contestant in a weight loss competition wants to lose an average of at least 8 pounds per month during a 5-month period. How many pounds must the contestant lose in the 5th month to meet this goal? Now we have this chart over here which tracks this contestant's progress over the first 4 months. Month 1, 12 pounds lost. 2, 9 pounds. Month 3, they lost 5 pounds. And then finally in month 4, they lost 8 pounds. Now this is a 5-month competition. So there is going to be a 5th month. But we don't know how much they lost that 5th month because it hasn't happened yet. What variable do you guys want to use for this? If you read that last sentence, it usually tells you what it is you're trying to solve for. It says how many pounds. You guys okay with using P for pounds? Okay. So in month 5, we're going to lose P pounds. We just don't know how much that is yet. Now, do you guys remember taking averages in 5th and 6th grade? Okay. Explain how to find the average of a group of numbers. Add them together and then divide by not 2, how many there were, how many numbers there were, right? So in a 5-month period, how many numbers are we going to have? 5. So we're going to divide something by 5. Okay. So if I'm taking the average of 5 numbers, I should add the 5 numbers together. Here are my 5 numbers: 12, 9, 5, 8, and P is our missing 5th number. So my inequality is going to look like this: 12 plus 9 plus 5 plus 8, and then what was that? P, the last one, P, plus P. Add them all up and then divide them all by 5 because there's 5 numbers because there's 5 months. Okay, so that's actually going to look like this. And that is the biggest, fattest fraction I think I've seen. That expression represents the average weight lost over a 5-month period. The contestant wants the average weight loss to be at least 8 pounds per month. What symbol could I replace at least with? If she wants to, or he, doesn't say he or she, if they want to lose at least 8 pounds per month, is 8 the minimum or maximum that they want to lose each month? Minimum. So they would prefer to lose even more, correct? So greater than or equal to. At least means greater than or equal to because it's a minimum and we prefer that it be either that or higher. So that expression represents how much weight you're losing per month. We'd like that to be at least 8. There's our inequality. Now we're going to tidy this up a lot. Okay, the first thing I would probably do is combine our like terms. Right? Combine our like terms. How much weight has she already lost? Well, if we combine our like terms on the top of the fraction, you've got 12 and you've got 8. What's 12 and 8 make? 20 plus 9, 29 plus 5. Okay, so she's or he has already lost 34 pounds, plus they're going to lose more, and then we're going to divide by 5 because it was a 5-month period, and that's greater than or equal to 8. So they've already lost 34 pounds. That's an important thing to know. Secondly, we have to clear this big fat fraction. What's the big fat fraction being divided by? 5. So we're going to multiply both sides by 5. And when you multiply the left side by 5, the 5s just cancel out. So you really just have 34 plus P now. And 8 times 5 is 40. So if you're going to get an average of 8 over a 5-month period, that means you need to lose at least 40 pounds total. So when you divide by 5, you get 8. Okay, maybe more than 41. That'd be nice. Our last step is to go ahead and figure out, okay, we know how many pounds we've lost already, 34. We know what we have to get to. And so what's that a difference of? 6. Yeah, subtract 34 from both sides, and P has to be greater than or equal to 6 pounds. And you can abbreviate pounds. It's a story problem, so we have to label it. But you can abbreviate it as LBS. I think that has to do with its Latin root. That's why they abbreviate it with an LBS. So yeah, as long as they lose equal to, greater than or equal to 6 pounds in that last month. Now, you think it's possible for them to lose 6 pounds in that last month? Yeah, they've had lots of months where they've lost more than 6 pounds, right? 12 pounds, 9 pounds, 8 pounds. 5 pounds was the least they lost, and they just need to lose one more than that. They'll have their goal of 8 pounds per month. All right. So on the bonus problem on our quiz with the triangle, I only had one person get it right. I have several people get it close to being right. After this worksheet, I think we'll know what we're doing. Because there's 4 problems on this worksheet we're going to do in our notes today, where we're going to be finding areas and stuff like that of these shapes, and that'll help us write our inequalities. Now, I've attached this key here. Remember this chart from our first section? It tells you what symbols for which words. That's going to be helpful to look at as we're putting this together. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you're already passed that. All right, example A. You want to find the values of x so that the area of the rectangle is more than 22 square units. How do I find the area of any rectangle? Parker? Length times width? Base times height? Both those work. Okay. So if I do base times height, my base or length would be x plus 3. Go ahead and write that in parentheses, x plus 3. And the reason we're going to write that in parentheses is that's going to get multiplied by the width, which is 4. So I'm going to put the 4 right in front of that. That expression represents the area of this rectangle. Length times width. I would like that to be more than 22. What symbol should I use for more than? Greater than? Yeah, it's you can find more than. More than is just another way of saying greater than, right? So greater than 22. Now, do you have your calculators with you guys? Get them out. Borrow if you need them. You may not need a calculator for every part of the problem, but there may be a part that, like this one, that you're going to want it for. Now, do you need your calculator to distribute the 4 to the x? What's 4 times x? 4x. What about 4 times 3? 12. Do you need your calculator for that? No. Do you need your calculator to get rid of the 12? Do you need your calculator for 22 minus 12? No? Okay. What is 22 minus 12? 10. But does 4 go into 10 evenly? No. So this was actually where your calculator might come in handy. Our last step would be to divide by 4. Thomas, what's 10 divided by 4? Divided by 4. 2.5. So x has to be greater than 2.5. If x is bigger than 2.5, then our area will be more than 22 units for this rectangle. So I had to write the inequality and then solve it. Part B. Now you want to find that value of x so that the perimeter of this rectangle is greater than or equal to 28. So how do I find the perimeter of any shape? Add up all the sides. How many sides are there on a rectangle? 4. And so we know for on a rectangle, the opposite sides are equal. So the bottom side is x plus 3 and the right side is 4. So if I add up all 4 sides of my rectangle, this is going to be my equation or inequality. 4 plus x plus 3 plus 4 plus x plus 3. And I'm not going to put my x plus 3 in parentheses because I'm just adding them. I'm not multiplying. I did last time. That represents the perimeter, and I want the perimeter to be greater than or equal to 28. They couldn't have spelled it out any easier than that. It's the greater than or equal to symbol. 28. So that represents the perimeter of our rectangle being bigger than 28 or equal to 28. Now that's a lot of numbers on the left side. Unfortunately, I can combine those terms. Let's start with the x terms. Rayleigh, how many x terms are there? Okay, so what's 1x and 1x make? 2x, good. And then Ashlyn, our constant terms are 4 and 3, which makes 7. And there's another 4 and a 3, which makes another 7. So what's 7 and 7 make? 14. So all of this just simplifies to 2x plus 14 is greater than or equal to 28. And I'm writing really tiny because I don't have a lot of space. You can also shrink it too after you're done. Maddie Cheeseman, what's our cousin Eddie term? Yep, and we're going to get rid of that by putting a minus 14. Maddie, what's 28 minus 14? 14. So now I've got 2x is greater than or equal to 14. Last step is to do what? Divide by 2. Do you need your calculator to divide by 2? What's 14 divided by 2? 7. Yeah. So I'm going to shrink this all out of the way. There we go. So maybe I didn't use my calculator on that problem. Okay, I'll give you that. Example C. You want to find the area, find the values of y so the area of the parallelogram is fewer than 41 square units. Now, the area of a parallelogram has the same formula that a rectangle has, base times height. That's because all rectangles are parallelograms. Rectangles are just parallelograms that have 90-degree angles, which means the base and the height of a rectangle actually make up the two sides, because the base and height always have to meet at a right angle. In a parallelogram, that right angle restriction is taken off. They don't have to be right angles. So the base and height still have to meet at a right angle, but it doesn't have to be on the shape. It actually happens outside the shape. Here's our base and there's our height. Look for the right angle and that connects your base and height together. So I'm still going to take my base times my height. My base is 5 times my height is y plus 7. That area has to be fewer than 41. Maddie Ann says, what symbol would I replace fewer than with? It's less than. Yep, so less than 41. So we're going to take the 5 in front of the parentheses and distribute it. Hannah Lindley, it's 5 times y. 5y. And 5 times 7? 35. You didn't need your calculator for that, did you? You didn't need your calculator for that? No. Still nice to have it though, because I think we might need it later. Ella, what's our cousin Eddie term? And the opposite would be a, what's 41 minus 35, Ella? 6. She didn't use her calculator for that. But 5 doesn't go into 6 evenly. So on our last step here, which is to divide both sides by 5, I might want to use my calculator for that. Aiden, what's 6 divided by 5, according to your calculator? It gives you a fraction. Okay, well, you need to come up and bring that to me then. I need to fix that for you. Sure, go ahead and bring your calculator up here though. Branson, what did you get? 1.2. Now, I would have accepted your answer, but later on, we're going to definitely want decimal answers. So I'm going to go ahead and get it set up for you. Oops. 2, 1, clear. There you go. Okay. All right, you get 1.2. But as Aiden said, you can also get 6/5. So remember, now it's going to be broken. Remember that anytime, last chapter, we said that, you know, when we didn't have calculators, we said that when we were dividing a number and it didn't go into the number you're dividing it into, you could just circle it and say, hey, it's just 6/5. And so that's right. I would accept 6/5. I'd accept 1 1/5, which is also 1.2. Last one. To find the area of a trapezoid, we have to use a special formula that is easy to forget. Does anyone remember the trapezoid formula? Because I got extra suckers I could hand out. That's the volume formula of a rectangle prism. Nope. 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 All right. Nobody knows it. The formula for the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 parentheses base 1 plus base 2 times the height. It's the one that you don't use very often, so you forget it. So that's how you find the area. And it says you want to find the values of z so that the area of the trapezoid is at most 100. And so our area formula is going to start with a 1/2 in front of it. And then when it says B1 and B2, that just means base 1 and base 2, and your bases are the two parallel sides. We'll call this one B1, and we'll call this one B2. Now, B2 is going to be pretty simple. Z and 6 makes Z plus 6. What about base 1? Base 1 is the same as what? Z. Yeah, exactly. Nice shot, because the other side's Z, right? Okay, so 1/2 parentheses. For base 1, I'm going to use Z plus base 2, I'm going to use Z plus 6. And then what's the height of the trapezoid? Connects the two bases? 10. I want that to be at most 100. Does that mean 100 is a minimum or a maximum? Maximum. Can't be any bigger than 100, so it's going to be less than or equal to it. And there's my equation and my inequality. Now that's looks like a mess. So I'm going to tidy it up a little bit here. First of all, what's 1/2 of 10? Let's just replace that with a 5 then. Also, inside the parentheses, what's 1z plus 1z? 2z plus 6. That looks a lot nicer. Is less than or equal to 100. We need to distribute the 5. Thomas, what do you get when you multiply 5 times 2z? 10z. And Thomas, what do you get when you multiply 5 times 6? 30. So now the parentheses are gone. Really, what would the cousin Eddie term be here? We are going to put a negative 30. You're right. Yeah, it's a positive 30. So we get rid of that by putting a negative 30 on both sides. Really, what's 100 minus 30? 70. I don't think she used your calculator for that. That's fine. You may not need it for this problem. And the last step, Branson, is to do what? Branson, do you need your calculator to divide 70 by 10? No? What do you get? 7. There you go. That's about as tough as it gets right there. As tough as it would get. Did we have to flip any of these? No, there was nothing. We weren't dividing by any negatives, so we don't have to flip. Multiply, divide by negative, I would flip, but I didn't have to. Okay. All right. So we have 15 minutes left, which is the perfect amount of time to get half of our homework done tonight.